Thank you very much for joining us on The Voice of Job Seekers. This is Mark, and if you want to know more about me, you can join me at thevoiceofjobseekers.com. You can call and leave voicemail at 708-365-9822 or text your comments to the same number. You can also, when you go to thevoiceofjobseekers.com, you can press the send voicemail button to the right of any page, and you can leave me a message there. Anything from comments about the show to just some thoughts about what we talked about in our episodes. You can also send email feedback to mark@thevoiceofjobseekers.com. Just want to place a couple of announcements before we get in today's show. One is in the next week or two, you're going to see several shows come out. As I have a few extra bits of content that I want to get out. Not sure exactly how I want to present it, but I definitely want you to enjoy it. So look forward to that in your podcast feed. If not, you can find The Voice of Job Seekers just about on any podcast directory, including the popular ones like iHeart, Spotify, TuneIn, of course, Apple Podcasts. You can feel free to look for it and leave me a review. Let me know what you think about the show. The other thing I want to be sure that you knew about was about the 421 Modern Job Search Tips 2021. There's been a little bit of delay on it. It should be coming soon. When it does come, I'll be sure to announce it, and that you'll get that you be sure to look out for how you can get your copy. If this is the first time you've heard of it, feel free to go to voicejobseeker.com. Sign up on the right-hand side to the upcoming ebook that I have. It's about 125 pages plus, and it has more than 421 job search tips. Try to organize it the best way I can. I think this might be the last year I'll release them at that volume. I think what I'll do is I'll release addendums from here on in, so that way, as you need it, you can just sign up for the ones that you want, of course. The other thing is I want to just be sure that you look for me on my live streams on LinkedIn. I have some shows coming up. I do 2 live streams, one with Jack Kelly. He is the CEO of WeRecruiter.io. And you can always look him up on LinkedIn as Jack Kelly. The other live show I do is with Damian Burkle. It's possible that I won't have a live stream this coming Friday if you just happen to be on us Tuesday, November 10th. So I don't think we're going to have a show then. But we will have shows on subsequent Fridays, of course. And every Wednesday for that show with Jack Kelly. We don't have a particular name for it. We just go out there and do our thing. We answer questions, and we try to generously give as many tips for your job search as possible. Definitely join us for this Wednesday. Hannah Morgan's going to join us on the live stream, and that's for Wednesday. For many of you, it will be today, Wednesday, November 11th. At 1 p.m. Eastern. 12 p.m. Eastern, which is a time change. We usually do it at 1 p.m. Nevertheless, I want to introduce today's show. It'll be the only interview that will be presented today. Kenneth Johnson. He's the president of East Coast Executives. He's been in the game for 20 plus years. He's a diversity recruiter. He's also a TEDx speaker. He's been featured in Forbes. He works with Google. He works with Indeed. He works with the New York Urban League on a show. He also does a career seeker show for 106.5 FM WPPM in Philadelphia. He does a lot of stuff. But he is definitely a master recruiter and also a great networker, and I want to have him on to talk about networking. So I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a ring or send me a note via the ways that we talked about. In the meantime, enjoy the show.
Yes, man, happy to be here. The voice of the job seekers. This is it right here. I've made it. I've made it officially now. I'm here on this show. This is great. Hey, you know what? Let me back it up though. So for everybody, it's the University of Maryland at College Park. So we're about 30 minutes from Baltimore, but we're at College Park. Also the University of Pittsburgh, all my Pitt alum out there. I didn't forget y'all. Had a blast there as well. So, but man, happy to be here. Looking forward to the conversation.
Yes, sir. And it's somebody I've watched, and we met in a very unusual way. I don't know if you remember or not, but a few years ago, we kind of collided in a virtual way. You featured one of my articles on your show, and I said he broke it down like nobody else. Him and his co-host. But the brother didn't give me any attribution.
All right.
And you know what? I forgot about that up until yesterday.
I forget. You reminded me. As soon as you said it, I said, "Oh, I know where he's going with this. I know where he's going." Hey, listen.
I didn't remember till yesterday, until I was just doing some research on YouTube, and I found I go, that's where I met him. And that's cool because that, for me, it's like, that's what you want. You want your work to precede who you are, because people talk about you. It's better when people talk about you when you're not in the room than when you're in the room. So for me, that was a brand message, but it was a revelation on how, if you're doing the right things, it could travel before you and connect you to the right people.
Yeah, you know what? So we're connected now, and thank you for reaching out and pulling our coat and saying, "Hey, hold on, you could have mentioned the author of the article." let me explain this to everybody that's listening, right? So we do a segment. I host the Career Seekers Show on 106.5 WPPM FM out in Philly. Shout out to everybody from Philly that's on the feed. I love y'all. So we do that every Wednesday, 4 to 5. But I have two amazing co-hosts, Alberta Bloom and Tiffany Sutherland. So we do a segment called AB's Articles. And she brings an article that she finds really interesting and entertaining and basically thought-provoking from the career space, and brings it on and talks about it on the show. And then we just discuss it. So Alberta brought one of your articles in because she liked the content, and we just broke it down and started discussing it. But you pointed out that we didn't mention the author. So after you pointed that out, we make a point now to mention who's providing the content. So thank you for allowing us to get better in what it is that we do.
And you know what? And you took it so well. And I tried to tone it in a way and saying, I'm not upset. I'm happy. Just give the brother some credit.
Look, listen, I do some writing myself, so I understood what you were saying and appreciate it. And once we get ramped back up, man, I want to extend an invitation to invite you on the show. I just love the work you're doing out here in the space.
Well, thank you, sir. But all of that to be said, that is a nice segue to what we're talking about, networking. I mean, it's about the appreciation of work and connecting with people. Now you can connect with people who, that you see the work and you read their work, or you listen to their podcast, or you see them on video. You don't have to write them a letter like you did back in the 70s and 80s. Now you can connect directly with that person and sometimes build a great relationship with them.
No, it's amazing. It's an amazing world because especially for those of us that can remember the time when there was no internet, there was no LinkedIn. You couldn't kind of work those avenues. Look, I'm a old school recruiter, so I'm the guy that picks up the phone and calls people's offices back then, right? And tries to get in touch with them. So I'm appreciative of all the tools and resources that are out today that allow us to streamline the process and just tap into somebody's DMs real quick.
Yeah, that's it's interesting how many people, despite their fame, how many people will actually respond as well. So there's no use to, getting upset or thinking that that person's untouchable. Social media is a great way, LinkedIn, Twitter, and all of those. That way you can just remain connected.
You know what? We were speaking about Baltimore earlier, but I don't know if you know Torrin Ellis. You
Yes,
familiar?
he's been on the show a couple of times. I know Torrance
Torrin
very
is
well.
Torrin's my guy, right? Torrin's a
Yeah.
good dude. He's came on the Career Seeker show too. Came and he brought the Rip the Resume segment when his book came
Yeah.
out. So we did it. But I met Torrin on Twitter, I believe, originally, and I just saw him out here in the space doing amazing work, and just kept tapping in. And then we kind of started networking on the business side because Torrin's a recruiter by trade,
Right.
and we just sharing pieces of the network, sharing candidates, sharing leads, supporting one another. And I consider Torrin a great friend, but more importantly, like you said, this happened straight from networking. We were fortunate enough to meet because he was right in Maryland, so coming to Philly was only like a 2-hour situation.
Right.
But no matter where you are at in the world, I just did a conference out in Nigeria with IHTL. And really, Jenica, she reached out to me online and was like, Ken, I see you. So are you interested in kind of doing this out here in Nigeria with us? And of course I was, so that's how people are getting it done now.
Yeah. In fact, I just did something for a group in Dubai.
Yeah, there you go.
And all these connections. So just so we could set people up here, the old boundaries that we known it before a few years ago, we can even go back 10, 12 years ago, those have been removed. And the way we deliver information and the way we could connect, those boundaries are gone, right?
Indeed. Yeah, and that's a good thing. I'm not complaining about that. There aren't too many gatekeepers now. You can go directly to a person.
Yes, you can.
And but I guess the thing about it, so when people typically speak about boundaries, you think of people kind of overstepping boundaries, right?
Yeah.
And there are some ways you can overstep boundaries on social as well. Everybody's not required to connect with you. Everybody's not required to lock in and do anything for you. So I think the key to networking is networking from a place where you're adding value to the interaction. Yeah. And I think you're really good at that. I've seen you out here. I see what you're doing. And you go to people and say, hey, look, I like the work you're doing. I'd like to bring you to my platform, not necessarily even to advance what Mark Anthony Dyson's doing, because you've been doing this for 9 years now?
I've been doing this for a little over 10 years now.
Yeah, so 10
years. The platform itself has been 9 years.
But yeah, there you go. So you're giving people an opportunity to come on something that's established. And that's, that's a whole different style of networking. And I think one that's effective in 2020 and 2021. People are hurting right now in this pandemic. And I think we really need to focus on reaching out to people to see how we can offer support and add value.
Right. So as a recruiter, people can connect with recruiters, right? Granted, whether you take them on as a client or not, that's a whole nother discussion. but a lot of the recruiters I know and connect with, like yourself, you're trying to help the people. So you're making yourself, what you know and what you've learned over the past 20 plus years, you're able to put that out there for people to grab a hold of it and use it for free, no less. Much less you could offer it for much deeper and for a price, but you're giving. You're not just trying to take.
Yeah, a lot of the things that we do. So here's how this all came about for me. So as a diversity recruiter and an executive recruiter, what was happening was we were getting great opportunities with great companies, but they were at a level that was a more senior level with organizations. So most of the people that came to me were either recent college graduates or people that were just kind of getting started in their career. Right. And I couldn't support them by assisting them in getting jobs in the traditional way that I do work. So then I started creating career workshops and things of that nature, to your point, to share the information that I was getting from hiring managers and hiring influencers and walk it back down the ladder and give it to people that were trying to come back up. Right. So and that's how I got into partnerships with the Urban League of Philadelphia, the New York Urban League, the National Urban League. It just allowed me to expand and advance kind of who I could support at scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I can do it, I can do a workshop for 5 people, or I can do one for 100 people. And the Urban League relationships have allowed me to kind of expand on how many people we can assist. So it was just a numbers game. Each morning I wake up and ask myself, how can I find ways to help more people today in the work that I do? And so that's always the mission at East Coast Executives. We just want to try to support as many people as possible. It's just that the thing that pays our bills is the executive search and the recruiting business.
Right. Yeah, and that you got to do, of course.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a special particular time, and I think when all else, I think people are still trying to hide and are trying to manipulate and leverage this, where there are other people who completely understand this is a pandemic that will be embedded in our history. Sure. This is not something that's going to pass by like a tornado, hit some time, ruin some lives. This affects everybody at the same time, which we've ever seen. So for me, it was a no-brainer. Let's get on video, which I was very apprehensive to do because I'm a writer. Writers don't get on video. I mean, we should, but we went ahead and did it. We started, pushing it out there, giving it all away. And I'm not suggesting job seekers give it all away. You got value. You got to be smart and be marketable. But at the same time, you've got to be the one that's be willing to reach out and give so that people can see what value you have.
Right. Yeah. It's it's strange, but Mark, I find that's still even hard for people.
Right.
We live in a what's in it for me society, right? And I really do think that through this pandemic, though, we're starting to see some of the good in people, and people really are understanding that we're all here together. Like everybody's success and or failure impacts the other person, right?
Right.
And that's the elephant in the room, even with some of the societal stuff with the systematic racism that's going on.
Yes.
This isn't about Black people. This is about culture as a whole, right?
Right.
And how everybody has to win for us to be successful. So I share all of that just to say, I think there will be, I look for good and opportunity. In every opportunity, I kind of look for the good. And I do believe in chaos, you can find a lot of opportunity, but it's up to you to make that opportunity good opportunity.
Yes.
Because you can also take advantage of people. So we're here to spread the good. So that's what this is all about.
That's right. So in people who want to connect with recruiters or with anybody, what is an ideal approach that anybody can use in order for them to connect with somebody who they've seen post articles or may have even, I don't know, they've given some content out, is so good that I need to find out more information, or at least follow this guy. Sure. What would be a good approach for a job seeker to be able to do that? Because there's a lot of people out there that's doing it, especially recruiters.
Right. Yeah. We spoke about LinkedIn earlier. I just think the platform is designed for interaction, right? Whether it's you can actually follow people on the platform, you can comment on their content without connecting, and then you can move forward and connect. And sometimes it's just as simple as, hey, Mark, saw your show number 211 with Kenneth Johnson on it, or whatever number we're at, right?
Right.
And just wanted to connect in. You mentioned this. And then that starts the dialogue. And once that happens, anything can happen from that point. I had somebody, so I used to work in staffing as well, right? So like temporary staffing, temp jobs, things of that nature. So I had a young lady in Philly that I still communicate with, because here's what she did to lock herself into me. So this is before LinkedIn and everything, right?
Right.
So she comes to me, and she's looking for a job. So I interview her, we connect, and I'm like, look, I think I'll be able to help you. I really do think I'll be able to find an opportunity for you. So maybe 4 or 5 days go by, and she calls me, and she says, hey, I know you haven't called me about an opportunity, which probably means you don't have one. However, company XYZ just called me and said that they have 50 jobs that they're hiring for over at this company. You might want to give that company a call. So I was committed to helping her from there on out because she tried to help me, right? Like she went above and beyond to basically give me a lead. So again, I do go back to, if you are going to reach out and connect with someone, try to find a space where you can add value as well.
Right.
And in particular with LinkedIn, always send a message with your LinkedIn request, connection request.
Yes. That's I tell you, it's been said a few thousand times, and I still get connections with not knowing who to, and there are certain people I turn down.
Right.
Well, I just don't do. But a lot of people need to hear it, so I kind of make some concessions. But I mean, we can get deep into it. But one of the things that I don't particularly embrace when I get a connection is that if their headline is selling something, I'm like, nope. or that they're making it clear that they want something is like, nope.
Yeah, you can't start off on that foot, right? Asking for something. No, what? I have a question for you. So do you connect with people that don't have photos?
No.
You know what? My two co-hosts, neither will connect with a person if they don't have a photo.
I don't, because it's hard. There's a lot of fake accounts on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So, but I've seen all types. I've seen guys with girls' names and girls with guys' names. I mean, that are clearly guys' names, and not like the cute names like Jody or Tracy. It's like they gotta go for Edward Burris. Some is like, obviously they're man, but they got a girl's pictures. Like, nope.
Right.
So or I'll even accept if it's a parent, obviously got a child or got a wife. Maybe it might be plausible. What I'll do is I'll go look at them in the incognito mode. And that's a tip for you job seekers.
There you go.
Figure out how people are, and that way it won't show my profile. Look at them to see if they're legit. And a lot of times there's not anything on the profile or nothing that to identify them. So no. By the way, just to let you know, there might be some people coming through Zoom. For some reason, the LinkedIn feed is messy this time. I don't know what it is, but so I put the word out there. So, but we're recording it, so we got everything else. But I just really feel I feel strongly that though some people learn through education. So there are people out there who just don't know, got legit files. I'll bring them on then and let them be exposed to what the culture, if you want to be productive, this is how you do it.
So you're still kind of using the platform to coach people through it.
Yeah, I'd like to think that I do. And I like to think that they gather from the likes and the comments and they see all that. But yeah, I like to think that people can at least learn, hey, when you connect with somebody on LinkedIn, write a note to let them know, and that will give you a leg up. Because I think a lot of people don't, especially people who are coaches and career professionals. They're just adamant about they should know better. I don't think that people should know better, since there's a billion people and a lot of people are still trying to figure out how to use the platform and the etiquette. So I think that's a critical part. I just want to let you know, Nusha Akela is on with us. Thank you, Nusha. She's on the Zoom portion. Had to make that. Yep. So I might let you in a little bit, Nusha, and you can ask a question or interact in any way that you want. So that'll be kind of fun.
You were speaking about LinkedIn and kind of LinkedIn etiquette and coaching people through. I did a workshop. Wow, this was right before the pandemic hit, right? Mm-hmm. So I did it for St. Nicholas houses, right, in Harlem.
Okay, yeah.
And, we did it right off 125th Street in St. Nick. But it was really interesting because we had high school and college kids in there, and a lot of them, they're so social media savvy,
Yeah.
but a lot of the other platforms and not LinkedIn. And I was trying to share with them, it's a professional platform. So stuff that might be right for TikTok, maybe not even TikTok, stuff that might be right for Twitter and some of your IG stuff, probably it might not be the place for it.
Right.
And that's kind of where the discussion went. So it was the same. Here's where I made my mistake. And as a veteran, you'll probably tell me, you know what, you should have known better than this. So I had a presentation, I had a slide deck that I used at the Pennsylvania Career Link. And that particular population out in Philly was mid-management to senior level workers. But it's LinkedIn, so all the stuff was kind of in line. You know, have a attention-grabbing headline, have your high-res picture, make sure you have actionable, quantifiable statements in your profile, and, you know, walking through. It's not your resume. Here's what you need to do. Connect with groups. So I'm sharing everything. But when I started gauging the temperature of the room and looking at the audience at St. Nick, and I'm like, you know what, these are kids. They're younger. I have to tell them this isn't the place for the picture of you flexing, you know, like this isn't the place for you to have a bunch of money in your hands and waving it in the air, right? Like, so that was the thing I just needed to kind of share with them. This is your interview. This is the beginning of your job search right here.
Right.
So handle it accordingly. And I think, you know, they all connected with me, and I've kind of coached a few of them through, but it's just about, like you said, it's about people understanding what the platform is about, because you can network on a couple different platforms and all have different rules to the game.
Yeah, and you know what? I've made an error like that a long time ago. I want to welcome Derek W. to the show, to the Zoom call, by the way. You know, at Prairie State, I did a workshop with another younger man. So for me, I was first up and I did the presentation. Now they were quiet, they were nice, but they were not as interested. But I learned something from the younger presenter. What he did was, when they first walked in, he took the roll that we took, the attendance list.
Okay.
And he said, you know what? I looked at your LinkedIn profiles. This is what I found. Got their attention.
Yeah.
And then began to school them all the way down.
Okay.
I did not think of that. But he was much younger,
right.
You know, and he was closer to age. He knew their language.
Exactly.
And so, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you just learn.
You know what? Language and tendencies, right? He knew the tendencies as well. Yeah.
Right. And I think that relates to networking. Is you got to come closer to what the way people communicate. If you're looking to thrive, it's not about you. You're going to have to dismantle what you think you like and get an idea what other people like to connect with them. And it isn't just connecting, it's about the relationship. So most of the time, you've got to be able to take those relationships online and take them offline for them to really have an impact.
Right. Yeah, it's, you know, and so that's the transition, right? You
Right.
build positive relationships online with the hopes of kind of taking them offline to have real sustainable outcomes.
Yes.
Because, you know, if you're interacting on those platforms, and you could be interacting to just add somebody to your network, or to find a lead, or to maybe get information about their company and or organization. And the only way to do that is to just stay in the interaction, right? But, you know, there's etiquette, there's networking etiquette.
Yes, there is. And it's pretty universal throughout. And just think of how you want to be approached when you're in person.
It's a good point.
You know, the issue many times is that, you know, if you're asking for too much, there's space invasion. And there's a violation. Now, people will react to it in different ways. But one thing is if you're trying to, first you want to do a lot more listening than you do talking. Because if you start talking, then you'll turn people off more than you will welcome them into your world.
You know, I had somebody reach out to me on LinkedIn. This was probably about a week to 10 days ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, so every invite I receive, every single one, I send a message back basically saying that, you know, I pride myself in adding value to my LinkedIn network. And then I ask how I may be of assistance to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she said, I want us to join forces to help job seekers. And I said, okay, so how will we do that?
Yeah.
And she said, I don't know. I'll get back to you. You reached out to me. You reached out to me saying you want to join forces. So how will we do that? How do you plan on us doing that?
Hundreds of times people reach out and saying that they feel like we can work together and collaborate. It's usual spiel. And it's like, and then they want to say, if you need a resume, I'm going, wait a second, hold it. Do you understand, you know, what I do and where, you know, who I hang out with? Didn't you read my profile? Instead, I just block them now. I'm just kidding.
Look, you part of the cancel culture. You just canceling people out here.
Just because they're not, because the history has been, when they start out that way, it doesn't go any further. It's like, you know, I'm not interested in just having numbers. I have enough numbers. I would, you know, if you can spread, or if you want to get on the train, that's one issue. But if you're looking to, you know, to just get something and hope that people will have the answers for you, in your case, I don't know what that was. I don't know.
So I'm like, you know, how do you, I know how I do that, right? But how do you expect, how do you plan on us doing that together? Like, what do you bring that allows us to do that together? And she said, I don't know. So I just, all right, like, to your point,
painful.
where can I go from there? There's nothing else for us to talk about.
There's nothing else. So if you don't want to frustrate people and you do contact, have something specific to say. Now, let me get back to my friend Zachary Ball. Shout out to Zachary.
Yeah.
I hadn't talked to Zachary probably in about 15 years or so. Well, it's a friend of mine. It's a personal friend. I told him I would give him a shout out. I just talked to him a couple of hours ago. I hadn't talked to him in a long time. So he contacts me, said he needs a little help. And I didn't mind because we have history. We go back many, many years. And he said, I said, I have 10 minutes. And he was very respectful of those 10 minutes, got right down to it, got what he needed, and off he went. Not a problem. And that's what that's a solid thing to me. Now, I can't do that with everybody, but somebody I know I've had in my home, you know, broke bread with, have a past with, okay, I don't mind giving you 5-10 minutes of my time, especially, and this person knew what he wanted. He didn't want to chop fat, you know, we just got right down to it, and boom, there we were. So I think that's the other part of it too, is that once you get to someone, don't waste the time. Get down to it. If that, or to say, hey, I want to, where else do you have other resources? And I'll just go look for them. I've had that, and that's awesome.
Okay, yeah, there you go. And, you know, we're all entrepreneurs out here. Everybody's a business of one, as JT O'Donnell would say.
Yes,
so time is money, right?
Right.
Time is money. I'll give you some time, but, you know, like, be respectful of my time as well. So, I can understand that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people want to do it. Now, I have so much free stuff out there. I have more than 700 articles on the web.
Wow.
I have more than 200 podcasts. I have more than 200 videos, audio and audio video on YouTube. There's plenty of free stuff they've given. And I think people who spend the time to do that have done their job. If you get anything extra, that's a lot of gravy that you're getting.
Well, look, and then, you know, I think to our earlier point, if you were to do that, and if someone was to circle back and say, hey, Mark, Just wanted to reach out and connect with you. I recently read your article, 10 Tips on an Effective Interview.
Right.
Tip number 3 really resonated. Like, now you're more willing to share this conversation and add value. Because you know they've done some research. Right, exactly. So
absolutely. So are there any other secrets that we should know that for people to network, or even in mastering this conversation, mastering networking, in a sense? We talked about the respect, the etiquette. We talked about respecting other people's territory and time, the title. Know something before you reach out about that person. It's about the relationship. What else? Is there anything else we're missing on the one-on-one tip?
Yeah, I think, so there's rules to this, right? Networking, right. There are some principles, but even once you have all of that, the foundation is rooted in action.
Mm-hmm.
You have to act. You have to create opportunities. It's almost like, I don't know, when you're young and you're the person at the dance and you want to dance, but you're on the wall and you're not asking anyone to dance with you, right?
Right.
There has to be some action to get results.
Yes.
And it's the same with networking, right? You have to put yourself out there. And sometimes I know that's uncomfortable for a lot of people. One, people are introverts. There are some introverts out here. Two, people are legitimately and understandably uncomfortable about asking for things. So that's why you have to position your networking from a value add, your value add standpoint. But really, it's all rooted in action. So many ways to just reach out nowadays. So I encourage everybody to quit overthinking it. If you see somebody out here that you want to get to know a little better and that you believe can ultimately support you in your job search or your career, just reach out to them and say, hey, listen, I admire the work you're doing. Would love to be connected here on LinkedIn. It's as simple as that.
Yep, that's a great tip. And I think we provide the people what they need. I want to see if Derek or Anusha had any questions. They could hit us up in the chat while we're closing on the discussion. One thing that I think is really important for people to understand about networking is that it's not for tomorrow. It's for the future.
Yeah.
It's for looking ahead. It's for first of all, there's nothing wrong with connecting with somebody if you just want to give. Even you don't want anything. Say, hey, I heard you heard this and needed this, and I want to provide you with the resources. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's a very powerful lesson for most people networking, because most people are just out to get and suck energy from the sun, if you will.
It's refreshing when someone reaches out to you and they have a value add.
Yes.
Right.
And that's all they want. And that's all they want. And there are people out here. And keep in mind too, I've been talking about referrals for the last couple of months. And there are people who do have who get rewarded on the back end. And that's the people who want to refer other people. But first, you got to do the right things first. And so, if somebody wants to refer, or you look at somebody to refer, be the one that gives, even if it's to somebody else besides the person to refer. They'll say, hey, this person has a lot to give, because and it's going to be assumed if you have a lot to give because you know a lot, that you can be an asset. So they're going to refer you to get that little bonus on the back.
Right. Yeah.
And there are people like that. And there are people, as I've discovered in being in different chats and different discussions and interviews and what have you, there's sometimes in like the threads, like we're having this discussion now, and in threads, they're I've seen where recruiters would go and say, hey, I might be able to help you. And because you're in the position where you're trying to learn and you're giving, and someone sees that, then they're able to give to you as well. So there's a lot of different ways that could be done.
there's an energy out here, and there's the laws of attraction and things of that nature, and good energy comes back to you.
Yeah.
So, I really believe that. So I encourage everybody to keep pushing that good energy out.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Kenneth L. Johnson, for coming on the show. Finally, we did it.
Man, we did it, man. I'm excited. I'm glad. Honored to be here. Honored to be here.
I'm honored to have you on, sir, and hopefully we can do this thing and help as many people as possible. If people want to get a hold of you and listen to your show on WPPM in FM in Philadelphia, or want to get in on the Google Air or the other National Urban League and New York Urban League initiatives that you're working on, how can they get a hold of you?
Man, as you know, I'm heavy on LinkedIn, so I usually promote all of our events, all the things I'm involved with, I promote through LinkedIn. But you can visit the East Coast Executives website at eastcoastexecutives.com. Everything kind of runs and funnels through there as well. This is what we do. We enjoy doing it. Again, we do the Career Seeker Show every Wednesday, 106.5 WPPM FM out in Philly. Also streaming live at phillycam.org. That's PHILLYCAM.org. Wednesdays 4 to 5. Urban League, National Urban League Jobs Network Digital Career Success Series. You can check us out on the UL Jobs Network YouTube channel. You can see us every 2 weeks. I think the next show is the 16th, I want to believe.
Okay.
No, the 30th. I'm sorry. The next show is on the 30th. It should be a great show. It's on leadership. I think my man Jamil Rush is going to come through and do that with us. You mentioned Google On Air. If you go to Google On Air and scroll down to the on-demand offerings, and you can find the Tap Into Your Job Search Network with Kenneth L. Johnson there, and that's still running. So we just try to keep pushing it out, man. We just keep trying to keep putting it out. We're not up to your level where we got hundreds and hundreds of pieces of stuff out there, but we're trying to do our part to support job seekers as well.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you who all attended. You all have a great day, and be sure you look out for what's going to be coming in the future. You can always go to the voiceofjobseekers.com, find the podcast, find the articles, and all that kind of stuff. So thank you all very much for coming. Sorry this ended up not the way I envisioned it. It's like, wow, what happened here? So thank you and have a great day. Hold on.